We are here, as you all know, tonight to dedicate Switchyard Park. So I'm asking you to take a moment right now just to be mindful and to listen to the sounds of the park this evening. I think you'll hear voices, some laughter, and you'll see people of all ages and abilities enjoying a space that was once just a vision and now is a reality. This park is the site for family reunions, a few retirement celebrations, maybe a pickup basketball game, outdoor play, and it gives us all a chance to be physically active, be in community, and to make memories. All of the speakers tonight have played critical roles in bringing Switchyard Park to life. To each of them, I personally want to thank you, as well as our community would like to thank you for your vision, in your support, your expertise, and dedication through all phases of this project.
If anybody's here for the first time, I bet you it won't be your last. You'll come back. Several milestone events we've talked about. We are really proud of this largest 65 acres and most extensive park development project in our history. Switchyard Park is meant to be a place where Bloomingtonians can come together for community, for health, for entertainment, for equity, for healing, and for fun and food, hence a good day to be here with Food Truck Friday. That's nice. This park reflects the vision of decades of mayors, park directors and staff, city planners, wise partners and professionals. It also reflects an unprecedented amount of feedback and input from our community. Switchyard Park is the realization of the voices of the people of Bloomington about what they wanted in a park, bringing us a park that meets many interests in our diverse, vibrant community. This park is Bloomington Park in every way. It is its location near homes, businesses, public transport, smack dab along the multi-use Beeline Trail makes it accessible by many means of mobility. Accessibility designed and built into throughout the park helps everyone enjoy and benefit from the park. Switchyard has native plantings and skateboarding and community gardens and dog parks and recreational courts and games and wetlands and performance stages and on and on. We've also focused on affordable housing in the park, at the park, with 2 projects already approved and underway. Switchyard Apartments behind us on the west side and the Retreat at Switchyard on the east side, both on land provided by the city. We expect more to come. We want to build in diversity and equity today and tomorrow and forever at this park.
I'm very pleased to stand here before you, in a sense representing the park boards that I have had a pleasure of serving on and with, that have, over those years, actually started this thing and now see it to completion. I'm extremely lucky to have that history. I joined the Parks Board in 1974 and retired from the board in 2020. During my time on the board, I saw firsthand the commitment of our park staff to safe spaces, wholesome programming, quality facilities, and a conservation of our natural resources. It's a part of their DNA, and it's what can make something like this as special as it is. The exercise in planning included an entire year of the planning exercise. And while we could not anticipate every challenge that has come our way since we held a groundbreaking ceremony back in 2018, we can report that the Switchyard Park is a very busy place. The Switchyard Park is here to stay. It's here as a space for you and your family and future generations to use and enjoy. I'd like to say to all who have participated today and who will participate in the future, a huge thank you for having the courage, willing to make a leap of faith on something that's probably uncommon in communities our size, but that's Bloomington.
3 years ago, I was here with many of these same fine people for the grand opening and ribbon cutting for this spectacular park. We were responsible for approving the $34 million tax increment funded, or TIF, project. TIF funding can make possible community priorities that could otherwise go unfunded. Looking around, I cannot imagine not funding this vision in which a former railroad hub was transformed into 65 acres of community opportunity. This park is a celebration of Bloomington, built on its past and providing for a future with a broad horizon. On that horizon are endless community connections, climate-friendly transportation, recreation, and planting, mixed income parkside housing that integrates our community, and the general wellness that parks and public lands offer communities. This is only some of what this park is. We approved it then, and standing here and looking at it, we approve it again.
It seems like we've celebrated the park many times. It's probably worth noting that there's never enough celebration of something like this, and there will be events celebrated here for decades to come, which is a very exciting thought when you're involved in planning something like this and seeing it come to fruition. So most of what I would have said, I've said already, if not 3 years ago, when I walked you through the 20-year history of this park and every single step along the way that had to happen for you to see what you see today. Literally anywhere along the way, one of those steps doesn't happen and we're not here today. Maybe the most important one Deputy Mayor Griffin mentioned, and that's the funding piece. You can make the best of plans, but if you don't have the community will to fund it, it doesn't matter, it doesn't happen. So that was the final step, but there were literally decades of land acquisition and remediation planning and community planning and input on a master plan that REA Rundell helped us with and did a great job before we were able to turn a spade of dirt and actually build this park.
There's an expression in the parks profession that I've long learned makes a lot of sense, and I tried to keep it as an adage that should govern the park construction and park design and future operation of any public park, and that is that people come where people are. And the speakers that preceded me can all attest to that there are people in every corner of this park all the time, all seasons of the year, and that is the mark of a successful design. And obviously, as the mayor indicated, this is a park that was sorely needed in this area of Bloomington. I grew up here. My dad worked at RCA. This property was for over 150 years a railroad site, and the mayor wasn't exaggerating. It was an industrial wasteland when we started over 4 years ago. So I look today at how beautiful the park has matured, the plantings, and just the number of people in there. But I can assure you, 4 years ago, this was an ugly, ugly piece of property, flat as a pancake. And it was not something that was going to gather a lot of people to come to recreate. It sat abandoned for many years until, as many speakers have addressed, several administrations stepped up and determined that this was a project worth supporting and funding. This was also an extremely complex project. Anyone who was involved in the design or construction would attest to that. It did many projects. It was fortunate enough to have a lot of involvement in projects over the years. And this one, because of the environmental remediation that had to be a core component of the design and construction, but also making it a facility that would have visual appeal and recreational appeal along with all the complement of recreational facilities. It's a wonderful facility and one that we're very proud of.
You've heard from others about the numerous attractions, and you've heard some of the numbers of 65 acres and $34 million. I thought we'd talk about a few other numbers that were maybe a little lesser known about the project. There was over 6,500 truckloads of earth that were moved to create this park. So these berms and the hills that you see here contain the former coal ash and cinders that were on this land after the railroad. 48,000 tons of coal ash and cinders are now safely encapsulated within these mounds. Over 3 miles of new trails just in the park were added. And that does not even count the 1.25 miles of the beeline that passes through the park. We were able to rehabilitate 3 historic railroad bridges and add 2 new bridges for pedestrian and bicycle use. We have 159 light poles. I think Cecil counted all of the light poles. We have over an acre of new wetlands. We daylighted or opened up over 300 feet of stream. We restored over 300 feet of stream bank. We restored 16 acres of creekside buffer and woodlands along the edges of the park. And we planted nearly 3,000 trees, over 40,000 perennials, and laid over 10.5 acres of sod. And last but not least, we designed a performance stage and events lawn that would be big enough to host a performance by the greatest rock band to come out of the 1970s, at least according to Dave Williams. Who was it, Dave? The Doobie Brothers. So that was a key criteria in the design of this park. The parks of this scale and scope are rare, not just in Indiana, but across the country. It takes a client with a bold vision, dedication, fortitude, and deep conviction and appreciation for parks to bring something of this scale to life. We've been truly blessed to collaborate with you. And there comes a moment in the life of any project as landscape architects and designers where we end our work and we pass it on to our clients, and we couldn't ask for a better steward of Switchyard Park than Bloomington Parks. It is truly a community treasure that we know will be enjoyed by countless families and generations to come. So thank you all and enjoy the park.
Weddell is honored to be the builder of this magnificent park. It's a once in a lifetime, once in a generation. You pick the adjective you want to have, but these don't just get built very often. But every time I come, the park is looking more mature. And if you think it is now, just wait another 5 years. I will say this was one of the most unique and diverse projects that we've done in my 40-some years of Weddell Brothers. We do all the components with different companies, but to think that we started with 60 acres, 65 acres, that was nothing but coal ash and cinders, as people have said, and it has been repurposed through the vision of everybody that's been mentioned already to this facility. And that is quite the repurpose from all that coal ash as you go through. But there are a lot of components that make this place special. So it was our pleasure to do that because we're community members and community partners, and our friends and our families get to enjoy this park as well.
Now, without further ado, I would like to invite all of our speakers to cross the trail and take our positions on either side of the dedication plaque. And then I'd like to invite all of our guests also to join us, and we will count it down and reveal the plaque.